Hello, welcome to the box room. David Bradley here. I was looking at some trains, and I did have one set around that I have used as Christmas decorations. Why? Because, well, I like trains. I have had it hooked up a little bit, and it worked fine, and I think I have all the parts, and I have the box and stuff. And it was, I can't remember the name. It was a kit in the, I don't know how long ago, they had trains. They'd come in a box, and they would have some cars and it would have some track. And the box was all flat and had all kinds of cool graphics and things. And I saw this and I said, "Ooh, that looks cool." So I've used this as a Christmas decoration. It is definitely HO scale. And I did grab a piece of track and indeed tried putting the little blue engine that I looked at before on there. And yeah, what I found here is a box of HO, which is half of O. O is much, much bigger. Anyway, this one, not from the box. But I suspect what I'll do is try and find the box. Oh, not this box, but this guy's box with its stuff and set up to test some of these trains and see what's what. At least, I want to test the blue one, maybe test the little steam one and see what's what and see if I can get a little something going. And if it's not going anywhere and I'm not having any satisfaction out of it, I will send this whole box off to my train people, or people I know who like trains. And they can see what they can see, and chances are, make use of some, make use of parts for some. Maybe I'll just get a couple of things back for display purposes. Anyway, I must go back to the garage, because you never know what's waiting out there. There may be more trains. But I do want to get that pet out. And I'm not sure I described before, basically, big shelf with boards, like 2x4s that come across. And the first one I got out, I go, "Oh yeah, it comes out just fine." Well, yes, it comes out just fine, but I can't slide the other pet over to pull it out because the 2x4 up above takes up the space, and the pet is too high, and there's not enough room to twist it, and it's just no. So I got to move more stuff, and so I will move more stuff. So thanks for coming. Stay tuned. I don't know if you've noticed, I did get a little microphone holder here. This is the first test of this. I'm not sure if this works better than having it on my hat or not. Certainly, I'm sure when I turn over here, it's not as good as when I'm turned over here. And no, it's not some big fancy micro. It's the same microphone. I'll tell you, I don't go out to get all the let's make it look like a studio thing here. But I was in Shoppers Drug Mart, which is a drugstore in Canada, and they also sell other things. And on their clearance shelf, they had this thing. It's a clamp with. Hang on, does this turn? I think. Oh no, don't do that. Maybe I can do this. It's a thing. It could take. Oh, I'm gonna hurt something or somebody. And since I'm the only one here, it would be me. Anyway, it's basically, there are those lamps, electric lights that have things that you can pull down and look at things and get a closer look. It's essentially just one of those with a thing for a microphone on the end. And sometime maybe, even though I keep using this cute little guy, and maybe I'll still stick it on my hat, maybe for effect, like they did on some talk shows and stuff, I'll put some ornamental microphone where you can see it and say, "Ooh, look, an ornamental microphone." There was some other story I was going to tell. Train pictures, right. And this would be the main focus of this. So here I am. I'm headed to work. It's early in the morning, and I see along Bayview Avenue, I think in Toronto, north of Steeles, where the main line, from what I know, it's the main line goes across. There is a freight train. It's stopped. They're not usually stopped, but they are stopped. So I have time, so I pull into the parking lot at the grocery store at the bottom of the hill by the bridge, and I start shooting pictures from down below. And I'm not encroaching on anything. I haven't got any. I'm just in the parking lot. Anyway, this fellow approaches. He is the engineer, and he says, "Would you like to get a closer, view of this?" I said, "Well, sure." He said, "Well," um, he was going into the grocery store. He said, "We're going to be here for an hour. There's no other train scheduled to come on the other track because there were two tracks, and the train I was going to look at was on the near track, but there's no other train scheduled along there for a couple of hours. They had to take a break for something or another, and they were going to the grocery store to get supplies." So he said I could go up. Now, he didn't say I could go on the engine or anything. I wasn't going to do that. But he said I could go up. So I did. I went up, and I shot some pictures, and I became one with the engine. Anyway, just as I was finished, I looked at the rail, and I thought, look at that. It's shiny. I bet you I could get a good reflection picture. So I took my camera, which was a Sony DSC-R1, which had a little screen that I could turn, and I literally set the camera down on the rail, aimed it up a bit, got a wicked reflection of the train in the rail. Thought, oh, that's the picture, and away I went. I did. I'm not sure if I think maybe I don't know if it happened at the beginning or at the end, or when I got it, but somehow I did end up with the email of the engineer, and I sent him, um, I guess, just a message with this thing, and he said, "Oh my word," he said, and he'd been an engineer for a long time, and he said, "Could you send me the original?" Because he wanted to get it printed to put in his office, and I said, "Yes, I can." Now that was years ago. I don't know what's up, but anyway, I did post that picture to some site on Facebook or something or other, and then it unleashed a whole, "Oh my God, you violated the space, you this, you that, oh," all this horrible whatever. And I said, "I had permission." "Well, he didn't have the right to give you permission," and oh, da, 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 da. And it's a good thing they don't find out, when it was taken, and they can look up who he was and give him. Well, I'm sure he's long since retired. And there are sometimes you just say, give it a break. I think, sadly, like in many things, people were jealous of the picture and were trying to find ways to cut it up. I had been in violation of some federal statute or some whatever, and maybe I was. But the engineer, I had no intention of going, like basically where the parking lot was. There was a big hill where the train tracks were, because the bridge that went over Bayview was raised, and there was like a fence along the side. Although there was a place where they could climb down by the bridge. Well, I suppose people grew up, and there wasn't a gate. It wasn't locked. There weren't signs. There wasn't anything. But still, I wasn't going to go up there. I had no intention of going up there until the engineer came and said, "Want to go up there?" And I said, "Yes." And I did. And I entered that picture into some competitions. It did win some rather, I mean, not, they didn't pay very well, but certainly prestigious awards. I'll have to find it. I'll make sure you get a chance to have a look at it. Anyway, it was a freight train. I don't remember the name of it or the number of it. Certainly, I don't think there was one like it here. It was more of a square thing. And actually, from what I know now, and I really don't know much about trains or whatever, but the thing in the front, the nameplate that says CN, well, that's a door. That's where they get into the engine. I'm sure there's other places too, but that's one place. Anyway, I will find that picture. I will post that picture. I shall. But for the moment, I think I will ponder trying to set up a little something, even just a circle on a table, to test some of these things out before I send them off to my train people, who will love them and enjoy them and such. And probably I'll send it all I don't know. I like the little blue one. I like the steam engine. I guess depends on how they work. Is if there's anything else, and if there's any little circle that I want to set up and say, "Ooh, look, I have a little train." I'm never going to be the one who has the huge train set up, though. I'm not. I'm not. Not me. No, no. I like trains. I used to actually the trains we had when we were younger were bigger than this. I don't know what the gauge was, but there were actually three tracks, and the power was on the middle one. And who knows? Maybe they were Lionel. I don't know. But I remember playing with them. It was fun. And occasionally they come off the track. And you have to pick them all up, put them back on. Who knows? Maybe somewhere I have them. I just don't know. I will keep searching. So thanks for being here. If I had known I was going to find a box of trains, I would have hunted for my train hat. I would have. Anyway, back to the garage. Back to trying to release the pets. And if you don't know what I'm talking about pet computers, not animals. Don't call the whoever and say, "Oh my God, he's got pets in his garage and he can't get them out and they're dying." Anyway, bye for now.